Hello everyone, welcome to Praise the Run, episode 26. We're getting there. We're climbing numbers.
Quarter of 100.
Yeah, a quarter of the way, halfway to a year.
Yeah, we can rent a car.
Rent a car.
Yeah, isn't 25?
20. Yeah, 26. I was thinking months.
Oh,
And I was like, that doesn't make sense either.
we're 25 years old.
My brain's so fried.
Yeah.
Time. Yeah. I'm the MrBenShow. This is Patrick McKinstry, my co-host.
It's me.
This is my channel.
We're yawning.
Yeah. We both just got out of work. My shoulder hurts. I tweaked it getting out of my car. And I was
man.
God damn it.
Of course.
Why? But anyways, work has been the most exciting thing this week. Anything going on?
Oh,
with
really?
you? Yeah.
And I've been playing the heck out of Liza P.
Yeah.
Liza P is a great game. I
Yeah.
love it. I've had so much fun.
Great.
I've had so much fun.
Great.
I mean, I haven't
Let's talk
played.
about it.
I haven't played a lot of other Souls games.
Yeah.
I don't know why I forgot that.
Souls
The only
likes.
other Souls game, like official Souls game I've played is Elden Ring.
Yeah.
And then besides that, I own that Chronos game or whatever. I can't remember the exact name of it, but it's like a Souls-like, but there's like portal jumping involved and stuff.
I don't think I remember.
I think I showed you the case once. It might actually be in Game Pass now, but I own the hard copy. But that's actually kind of similar to Liza P as far as like the steampunkiness goes.
Yeah.
But no, this game is super fun. Like I said, I haven't played a lot of others, but I've seen other people play them. So like, I feel like it's still very similar to. It's like a Souls. It's like a Souls game except a lot more forgiving.
Yeah.
Like there's like it has everything that you would find except without that like shifty like, oh, you think you're safe and then you get screwed last minute. There's a lot more like just it feels a lot more rewarding. Not that like a Souls like doesn't.
Yeah.
But this one has like the objectives I feel are a little more clear, but that might also just be like because the story is more like it's something that I'm already aware of, so I'm like, okay, well, this is the story that
Right. It's not Souls doesn't really put a story in your face. They do a lot more environmental storytelling, which
right, and
this
there is a
game
lot
does
of
have
that.
a lot.
Yeah, there is a lot of like artifacts and stuff you find that hold the story. It kind of has a little bit. It reminds me a tiny bit of Final Fantasy as well.
Okay.
Mostly like the characters involved, and then some of the. It's really hard to explain that, but maybe after you play it a minute, it'll make sense. I don't know. I can't explain it, but everyone's like, there's a couple characters that look a lot like the Final Fantasy X.
Yeah, they
characters.
They have the smoothness.
They have that steampunky kind of vibe to them, and then there's just like, I don't know, some of the things that I've picked up. I don't know, for some reason, sometimes I think like, oh, this is like a Final Fantasy-esque thing, but still very much just a Souls-like, just jamming out. Everything just feels nice. Like I feel like it makes me want to play more Souls, like even more so than Elden Ring. Like I mean, even with Elden Ring, that was like
Okay.
like Elden Ring was probably a good introduction for people who've never played a Souls-like, but at the same time, it's everything like a Souls-like player wanted, but in an open world.
Right.
You know, whereas this is like
Bloodborne.
Bloodborne light.
This is just Bloodborne.
It's just Bloodborne light.
So there's a bunch of things that remind me of a bunch of different games, of course, that with this game. I played the demo. I know the demo is not fully there. I'm trying to get this last button. I can't get it. I know the demo, they tweaked some things like the dodge roll that I had a problem with and everything like that. They made the parry timing easier. And actually, just recently, they came out with another patch that nerfed a bunch of the enemies. So, say as you will, the game is definitely a lot different than what people played from the demo, or even what people played a week or so ago.
Yeah.
There's a couple of specific things that remind me of things like the parry stuff, being so close to Sekiro. I know you don't have any basis for these things.
Yeah,
but,
when I played Sekiro, I didn't even parry.
Right, and that's the whole groove.
Yeah.
That's the only thing you do in that game. This has that same mechanic, the yellow bar thing and stuff like that. It also has a lot of stuff from Bloodborne. This is basically, they were like, we're making Bloodborne 2.
Mm-hmm. And that's probably one of the ones I've seen the least.
What, Bloodborne?
Out of all of them? Yeah, just watching other people play.
This is 100%, they just took the style of Bloodborne and then made the character Pinocchio.
Nice.
That's
pretty cool.
That's just straight up
minus the
reference.
Robot arm.
But that's in Sekiro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you do get your grapple arm and your axe.
Oh,
and
that's
stuff
right.
Like
yeah,
that.
yeah, that's true.
And that's all in Sekiro as well. You have the health mechanic from Bloodborne, which when you play aggressively, when you take damage, you can get a bit of your health back.
Yeah.
Which is super interesting. It's like they took a lot of the specific things that I do like in all of the different Souls games and kind of like took and put them together.
That's what I was going to say. There's a lot of different like winks to other Souls games in there. Like as you're playing, you'll be like, "Oh, this kind of reminds me of this one," or "This kind of reminds me of that one." Even like from the very first one. Like it's a lot of like.
Yeah, I mean, you still have Estus's, the astronomer viewers or whatever, astronomy viewers are your bonfires. You have Ergo, which is your souls.
Yep.
And then, the most forgiving thing I've seen is when you die in a boss door, your souls aren't stuck behind that boss door.
It's at the front of the portal, so you don't have to go fight the boss again.
Yeah, that's super forgiving.
Which is it's been very nice. But even then, the bosses so far, fingers crossed, but the bosses so far haven't been extremely hard. Yeah. And I think that might have something to do with, like, because they give you, like, a little summon guy to join you. I forgot what they call it, but...
Yeah, it's basically...
and that's a little OP, because he's a little strong right out from the very first boss. They let you use him. And if you play it right, you might not even have to touch the boss.
I don't.
And they're allowed to use last hit, which is weird to me because usually
fucking fly. I don't know if they do the Souls thing where I'll have to look into it, but Souls when you summon, yes, that can be easier sometimes. But when you summon, it doubles the damage that the boss does and doubles the health of the boss. And then when you summon 3 people, it quadruples it.
Oh, interesting. No, I don't know if it did that. But even if it did do that, like it wasn't
noticeable.
Too terribly. It wasn't much harder to me.
Kill this fly so badly. It's been bothering me for days.
Yeah, he's chilling. But yeah, even if it does do that, like the assistance is definitely like pretty OP, even just as a distraction, and he does a lot of damage.
Right. I think it's the same thing as like the Mimic in Elden Ring. The Mimic is super. I mean.
Oh yeah, but at least
OP,
the Mimic you have to like earn.
Right.
Where this is like literally the very first boss. They're like, hey, you can summon things.
Yeah.
Before every boss, and I was expecting like some like ranky ass puppet to pop out and be like, or something.
No, I don't think this game has player summons though.
It doesn't seem like that. Yeah.
And
I don't know who the character is that helps you. They haven't actually explained that. Yeah. It's just some white-haired guy.
And then in Elden Ring, you could summon a player character that's good enough that they could just like one shot the boss for you. Like
No, this
that
is all
stuff
like
happens
NPCs.
before. That's cool. So it's all like probably lore based and everything, which is like some of my favorite stuff with Souls. When you have summons, and then there's a lore summon, like somebody who's supposed to be in that fight with you.
That's what I feel like they'll explain eventually, because this is just a mystery character as of right now that just appears.
I'm excited to see where this game goes for you, because there's a lot of branching stuff that you're probably not aware of. And
I'm not. I've done very little research on purpose because I've gotten so into it. I'm like, I'm gonna go as far as I can without like looking up any help or playthroughs or anything.
Yeah, I feel like next week we're gonna talk, and you're gonna have a boss by name that you are gonna be at a wall with.
Probably. Right now, that's the next. The thing I'm at right now is a boss. And I like did everything up to that point. Like I went around and like looked for all the other extra stuff.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at now. Technically, yeah, I'm at a wall right now with the boss. But I only fought him once, just to see what he looked like and to see how helpful my summons is. That's the character. Actually, this boss is actually one of the characters that reminds me of a Final Fantasy character.
Really?
Just the way he's just a steampunky, like, collection of parts or whatever, and it just reminds me of one of the things you have to fight in 10 or whatever.
Hell yeah.
But it's still really nice.
Nice. I'm excited to play it. I really want to. I need to get on the Game Pass grind. I'm trying to catch up on all the bills and stuff from the 2 or 3 weeks that I was outside of work.
Oh,
so
right.
like we're trying to get back, but once we're there, we'll re-up that Game Pass subscription. I played Toy Story 3.
Oh, that's what this is?
The game.
This looks really fun, actually. I'm not gonna lie.
It was great.
It looks really fun.
It was fantastic. So Toy Story 3 is Avalanche Studios made this. This is the predecessor to Disney Infinity.
Oh, wow.
There's the whole toy box mode and everything that's big in Disney Infinity, where you add all your characters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's a version of that in this game, except it's all Toy Story based, and it's all like this old west town that you're building up and stuff.
That's pretty cool.
But there's also the story mode. At first, I didn't realize it gives you this mission, right?
Yeah.
At first, and it's like a story mission, and then it drops you into the main menu, or like looks like a board game almost, and then it has you like dropped on like the toy box mode. So I joined the toy box mode and did a couple episodes of that, not realizing that it wasn't the story mode.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I thought this was supposed to be like the movie, but it's not. This is really cool.
Huh.
Well, there is a story mode and it is the movie, but there's a lot more to it. There's like a Metal Gear level where you're like sneaking through the daycare and trying to let your buddies out of cages and stuff.
That's pretty cool.
There's a lot of cool platforming stuff. I'm not the biggest platformer fan, of course, but
yeah,
it got like really hard on that last level where it was like platforming puzzles and you're like switching to like 3 characters, like trying almost.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was like you got Woody here. He has a swing jump kind of thing. And then he can also do like the ground pound. You have Buzz, who can like lift up heavy objects and stuff like that.
Yeah. And
then you have Jessie, who could jump really high and then balance on like pinpoint objects.
Oh, interesting.
You use those characters to get through the story mode and like do different things.
Right.
Yeah, it was a weird, cool game. It's on everything. I played it on my Xbox One. It's backwards compatible. I have the disc. It's not behind me anymore because I did beat the whole game. I played through it in one sitting.
Nice.
I did like 2 hours of the toy box mode, and then I think it was like 3.5 hours for the story mode.
Oh wow, okay.
But the completionist run for the toy box mode says 114 hours. So I don't think I've scratched the surface with that shit.
Right, yeah.
So I do plan on going back to that at some point.
That's
but
a lot, yeah.
Yeah, that'll be like once I start streaming. Maybe we'll like do a bunch of toy box quests and stuff. But yeah, I had a blast. It
looks fun, yeah.
There's a lot of cool references and stuff to a bunch of different Pixar things, not just Toy Story. Yeah, here's the game board that it shows you, and like the gray part is the story mode, and it's like all the different locations of the story. But then it like when it drops you off, there's like the toy box mode off in the corner. It's the only thing that's colored. I was like, oh, this one's the one that I select, and yeah, it is, but it's not for that.
Interesting.
There's also like that little barn that's right there. It's like you can watch like scenes from the movie and trailers and everything like that.
Oh, right
There's concept art and all of that kind of stuff in this too. It's a really cool collection of things if you're a Pixar fan. But yeah, I had fun. It was a day's worth of recording, if that.
Right.
And I got through the whole thing. I always like that. The other game I started this week was Resident Evil 2 Remake.
Nice.
I love Resident Evil so much, especially the first-person ones as of recently. I played through the demo of 2. I never played through 2 Remake, and I don't have an affinity for those first 3 like most people do, because I don't like tank controls. But Resident Evil 2 Remake doesn't have tank controls. It's still third person over the shoulder, but like you can move a little bit faster when you're aiming and stuff like that, rather than just like stopping. And then, of course, the originals are fixed cameras and stuff like that.
Right.
And you have 3D full control and everything like that. This game came out like 5 or 6 years ago now, and it is still gorgeous.
Yeah.
It is amazing how well. I think it even looks better than like 8 in some parts. Like it's kind of crazy how good this game looks, especially the gore and stuff.
Yeah.
It brought me back to the Game Awards. Was it Game Awards? It must have been the Game Awards or something like that. When they announced this game, and it was like super mind blowing. Just how gorgeous it is. It was like, oh yeah. I'm right back at that reveal where like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Like you see the zombie's jaw fall apart because he got slashed by a clicker, and it's just this gooey pumpkin mush of gore. It's just a great game all around.
Yeah, I like that game. That is a good one.
I can't wait to get through it all. I know I have DLCs and stuff that I need to catch back up on, and this is my Halloween game, but it's not the game that I'll be playing on Halloween. Usually I try to play a one-sitting game for Halloween. I did Little Nightmares, and I did Made a Scare last year. And I don't know if I'm going to do a DLC or not of one of the games that I've played, but I would like to find still something in that nature. But we'll be playing through Resident Evil 2 Remake for a little bit, because there's 4 campaigns in that game or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
There's Leon A and B and Claire A and B.
Yep.
Then there might even be a 5th one to like tie it all together at the end. And then I believe 2 got a DLC. I'm not completely sure. If not, I'll move on to 3 Remake, and then eventually get to 4 Remake that came out this year, which definitely has a DLC.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have much to say other than that game's pretty, and I love the vibes of RPD going through and just blasting zombies in the hallway.
Yeah, I love a good Resident Evil.
It's really good. I put it on normal, and I kind of regret that because I am playing it just to play through it, you know?
Right.
But I forgot how low of ammo you have through that whole building.
Right. Yep.
Because I was just fucking shooting off, and then I wasted like 4 rounds missing. And
Yeah,
I was like, well, fuck. Guess I gotta just book it for the
That's
next
the rest
couple
of the game.
minutes.
Yep.
Yeah. Jesus.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of remakes, I started playing I'm pretty sure this is a remake. The Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney is all 3 parts are on
Yeah.
Game Pass now. So that's my
Okay. Cool.
reliever game now.
Fuck
when I
yeah,
get
dude.
frustrated from Rocket League and Pinocchio,
Yeah,
I switch
okay.
over to that. And
Are you on the first game?
yeah, I just got to the 3rd chapter.
Okay. Cool.
But
cool.
Yeah, I've never played that before. I have no prior knowledge to it. I just know like the memes.
Yeah.
And like games that have like
Spawned from it.
Right, but that's
Yeah.
it. So I've never played it. So I've been having a blast. It's
Word.
definitely like a fun like wrap up the night game, solve a quick mystery, you know,
Yeah.
and it's silly, you know, so that's cool.
Yeah, I want to see where you're at when the first game ends. They're pretty short. They're all pretty short.
Yeah.
I mean, they put 3 of them in there for a reason.
Right. Yeah. That's what I figured. They weren't too bad.
And then there is 2 others that haven't came to the U.S. yet. That we'll be getting. Miles Edgeworth has his own spin-off games.
Yep.
So the theory is that we're getting a remaster localization of that as well. They also did like Ace Attorney, but in feudal Japan.
Oh, okay.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
That's also a weird take on it. And then I think it's an Ace Attorney clone, but on the Wii there was a Harvey Birdman Attorney at Law game.
Oh, that's nice.
And
I've heard of that actually. Yeah.
Pretty sure it's yeah.
That would make sense if it
love
was.
Harvey Birdman.
I played a Harvey Birdman game
There's probably that game.
a long time ago, but it was a type game. You had to type it was one of those games where it was all text.
Okay.
There were no images at all.
Yeah.
Everything was just type the instructions. I forgot what type of game that's called.
Yeah, no,
But
I
you know what
know
I'm
what
saying?
you're talking about.
Like,
Yeah,
you type and
Hitchhiker's
then
Guide to the Galaxy's like
you
that.
you just have to figure out what words work or whatever. But yeah, it was
Yeah.
a Harvey Birdman.
Old Sierra games
game.
were like that too, where there would be point and click adventures, but you would type the words out.
Right.
And then I've played like Typing of the Dead and all of those types of games too.
Yeah, that one was pretty cool. And very now that like I've played this game a little bit, I can see like when I was doing some of the cases, I was like, oh man, this is like Danganronpa.
Yeah.
This is fun.
Yeah.
Very-
Danganronpa is straight up a rip of
It's just straight up a child,
yeah.
evil, post-apocalyptic, possibly.
Yeah. The director of Ace Attorney did a game I say recently in Times of Circle post-pandemic. It definitely came out a while ago now, but if you like this, it's this but with Sudoku.
Oh, okay.
And it's called Murder by Numbers.
Interesting.
It's the same artist, the same writer, I believe, and then I forgot. It might be the same person who does the music, but I feel like the music guy was an important name, as well. Yeah, that's a weird game. That
sounds
one's
pretty cool,
even
though.
more weirder.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like Ace Attorney is definitely weird in premise, but it's still very grounded and it's still very charming.
Yeah.
Murder by Numbers is definitely charming, but it's there's a lot more weirdness to it.
I bet. Yeah.
Yeah, it gets a lot more out there. Yeah, that's really all I've been playing. I didn't play anything much. Elden Ring is on hiatus. I'll be releasing the rest of the episodes, but I need to get my PlayStation clean because those fans are fucked up.
Yeah.
So also Home Buddy is on a hiatus because that's on my PlayStation as well. So I'm just playing some old Xbox games, and I like doing that. So it's not that bad.
Yeah, why not? Still good games.
Yeah, and try to keep games that make me happy, because the rest of gaming is not happy, Patrick.
No.
This is a bad week of game news. We're gonna start with the good shit. and the good shit is some Metacritic reviews. Assassin's Creed Mirage came out this week.
Yep.
The new Assassin's Creed. We're going back to the basics. We're sitting at a 77 on Metacritic. A Metascore of 77 or a 7.0 user score. Let's go to... Let me click on the thing. Metacritic, thank you. Let's see what... I wish they would give me, like, relevant sites, but... Let's see what... Noisy Pixel, here. I don't know who Noisy Pixel is, but shout out Noisy Pixel. They say Assassin's Creed Mirage wants players to experience its story to the end, and you'll be glad you did. There are plenty of nostalgic set pieces that replicate early entries of the series, but Mirage manages to create a genuinely unique experience that could very well shape future entries. This can easily be played as your first Assassin's Creed adventure, but longtime fans will be rewarded with connecting plot points and thrilling moments of gameplay. And they give it a 9.
Wow.
Let's see if we can find a more negative review, because they're out there, of course. I guess the mixed is stuff. We don't have any negatives. We have mixed.
That's good.
Mixed reviews. And then as soon as I try to click mixed reviews, it gives me nothing. Cool. Well, God is a Geek. I know that site. I do know that site. They gave it a 75. Assassin's Creed Mirage is perfectly serviceable and will certainly scratch an itch for major fans, though it's arguably not a bad entry point for newcomers either. It's pretty basic. But yeah, that seems to be the general census. This game is not remarkable.
Yeah.
But it's okay. You know? I was watching Nextlander, them play it, the X-Giant Bomb guys. It seems fine. I like not Valhalla, but Odyssey. I do like Odyssey.
Yeah.
I like the characters of Odyssey. Basim as a character isn't horrible, but I feel like the characters around him, it's kind of They're kind of just boring to talk to. Everybody's so gravelly and like deadpan all the time. And that kind of sucks. But like that's how all of that portion of Assassin's Creed is. Like Altair in Israel or Baghdad or whatever. That was all. It was all pretty dry. I mean, Assassin's Creed's definitely. It's the first one's story driven, but it's not as story driven as the later entries, especially like 2 on.
Right.
This one focuses a lot on its characters, though. There's a lot of specific characters that surround the main character, and I feel like they're kind of just like, whatever.
Yeah.
But Basim seems like a pretty cool dude, and the combat's touched up. Things hurt a lot more.
Yeah.
Like, you're getting knocked out in 2 hits, 3 hits.
Right.
They got rid of the RPG stats, like, you're still leveling up your character and stuff, and there's a skill tree. It's very small skill trees. I think there's 3 different skill trees, and each one has, like, 5 or 6 blips on it. It's not, like, a lot. And then, yeah, they got rid of like, levels for enemies and stuff. Because, like, they used to gate shit by, like, enemies in this area are just hard.
Right, yeah.
And then later, they would do it where, like, you can't go in this area because you're level 4 and those guys are level 26.
They got, like, a skull next to the name or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got rid of that completely. It's just now, hey, you probably don't want to go head first into this place because these guys are just hard. There are the different variety of enemies. There's like a blip next to their health bar. I think it's like 1 dot, 2 dots, or 3 dots to signify, oh, this is a normal dude, this is a heavy, and this is like an elite.
Word.
But other than that, there's not much more to it. It seems cool. It seems like they took everything that worked with the old Assassin's Creed with a lot of the new shit and kind of just blended it. The thing I would say is that this definitely feels like it was a DLC at one point. The budget definitely feels held back. Like it isn't as pretty as Valhalla.
Yeah.
Character animations and faces seem stilted a little bit, kind of like Fallout or like Skyrim or any of those games.
Huh.
It definitely feels like this isn't the next mainline Assassin's Creed because it was never pitched that as that. So you get what you get. This isn't a full price game. It's not $70. It's $50. It was supposed to be a DLC, and it would have been a $40 DLC. So they put a little bit more into it, and made it a full package.
Huh.
Yeah, I probably won't ever pick it up myself. Maybe one day when I get bored and feel like going down an Assassin's Creed hole.
Yeah.
But I don't mind watching people play it. I'll probably continue to watch a few more hours of people playing it and stuff before it fades from my existence.
Right. Yeah, I feel like I've played so much Assassin's Creed already.
Yeah.
That I don't need to play another one.
Right, and that's not doing anything
especially if it's nothing
special.
new. If it's literally going back to the roots or whatever, it's like, well, then I'll just play that one.
Right. And I don't know. I haven't played 2 or 3 or any of those in a very long time either.
Yeah.
So maybe this is the way to go. I mean, it's a modern way to go for sure, but you can play every single Assassin's Creed pretty much on modern hardware. It's not a huge issue.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle did check last night because he bought it. It's not on Steam, so that's weird. Like, you have to go to the Ubisoft store to buy it and play it. So it is on PC, but if you're looking for it on Steam, it is not there. But all the other Assassin's Creeds are there, so that's weird.
That is weird, yeah.
We got a better reviewed game after that came out the same day. There's 3 games that came out. 3 bigger ones that came out this day.
Yeah.
Forza Motorsport is out. Xbox, you finally got one out. And it looks like people really like it. And it's not surprising for Forza. I mean, Playground and Turn 10 really never miss.
Yeah.
Twifinite gave it 100. 100 out of 100.
Wow.
Where so many games make me feel like I'm left wanting, Forza Horizon left me feeling excited for the future. Sure, they'll continue to add cars, tracks, and races to this existing title, but seeing where we are now compared to where I thought was the top was nearly a decade ago, where I thought the top was nearly a decade ago, leaves me feeling hopeful that as the technology continues to press forward, Forza Motorsport will always be right there pushing it. And then we got another God is a Geek review. An excellent companion piece to an open-world frantic off-road action, Forza Horizon. Forza Motorsport is the next generation of racing that I've been waiting for so very long. And they give it a 95 out of 100.
Wow. Yeah, I want to play that.
Yeah, these games are... It's not Horizon, but Horizon is definitely the arcadey one. This is definitely their Gran Turismo. This is very much a simulation game, or at least the most simulation you're going to get from Xbox.
Right.
But these games always do extremely well scores-wise. Like,
yeah, oh yeah,
they
absolutely.
never miss.
Forza's a solid game.
I think that last Forza Horizon, when we checked the Metacritic on the podcast, it was like a 95.
Yeah.
Or something crazy. It was super high. This one's not as high as the others, but Motorsport is not as favorited as Horizon, just because Horizon's a lot more accessible.
Right.
It was also pitched as a live service. This is the first one that they're doing as a platform. So, I don't know, it's cool to see that.
I probably won't ever play it.
Yeah. And it's on Game Pass, so maybe I'll touch it.
Maybe I'll play it a little, but I'm not going to, get into it. I'm not going to, try to be the best racer
Right.
and all that.
Horizon's definitely the one to get into for that. I feel like Horizon would
Yeah.
be so much more fun.
Yeah.
I do like I last Horizon I played with I played a little bit of 4, but like the last one I really played was 3. I didn't even touch 5, but
I know I had.
they do like the Legos
I can't remember which one I had. Whatever one. I had one back in the day when we lived in that old apartment.
Oh really?
Yeah. I played that one a lot.
That was probably 3 back then. But yeah, they do like the Lego DLCs and the Hot Wheels DLCs and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
all that stuff is. I'd rather be doing that, but this is a platform. They're going to continue to add cars, races, tracks. We'll see where that goes with it. What kind of shit they add into it.
Right.
And they could add weird stuff because why not? You know. One more game. Detective Pikachu Returns is out. My boy.
Right. That's right.
This isn't surprising. But we're sitting at a 68 on Metacritic.
Oh, is that not surprising? You
No.
didn't think it was gonna do good?
No.
No.
No. I'd be the bearer of bad news.
Okay.
But no.
I don't know
No.
much about it, so I thought it was gonna do great.
It seems like some people are fine with it. A lot of the time, I was watching Kyle Bossman play XEZ Allies. He was streaming it the other day, and he said it best where this game lacks heart. Like, for a game that's all about child wonder and being a detective and stuff like that.
Yeah, and being a BFF. And...
You're not playing Detective Pikachu, which the first game you're not either. Like, Detective Pikachu is your partner.
Right.
And then you play as Tim
You're
Goodman.
the Tim, yeah.
Yeah, which is the kid that's, like, translates everything.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. But the characters are written weirdly. The way they look is a little off.
Yeah.
Like, they turned down the anime. Was a good way that I heard somebody put it.
Oh, okay.
Like, they made the eyes curve a little bit more and, like, cleaned up the shading and stuff like that.
Is it
and
like
made,
Americanized cartoon, kind of?
Yeah, like, almost like a Sony Illumination kind of, or like
really
a
interesting.
Pixar,
Yeah,
or one
yeah.
of those, like,
I could see that.
yeah, like Monsters vs. Aliens from DreamWorks kind of
wow.
look.
Huh.
But this also is a Switch game, so it runs like a Switch game, which is a bummer. Because I thought we were gonna figure this out because the last Pokemon game did not run well either.
Right.
And this is Creatures. It's not Game Freak, but it's still Creatures has their hands in all of it. So I thought we were gonna get a little bit more here, especially with how long this game. I think this game was announced in 2017 or 20.
Wow.
Yeah, it was the launch of the Switch, and they said that a new Detective Pikachu is on the way, and they just called it Detective Pikachu.
At
2
the
then.
launch of the... Imagine, the
Yeah.
gall.
Yeah.
You'll definitely have it before the next Switch is made.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. I'll really.
Like, they might as well have just waited at that point. It's been so
Right.
long.
Right. We got an 80 right here from GameSub. While overtly silly and over the top at times, Detective Pikachu effectively balances its light with extreme darks, wielding its cuteness. I was trying to read it as cutscenes. It's cuteness as a tool to help to tell an impactful and fairly relevant tale about corruption and felt through various cases. And then I'll read a more negative one because we definitely got those for this. Where are we sitting at? IGN gave it a 60. The mystery story of Detective Pikachu Returns makes some bizarre and unexpectedly dark choices to get to its underwhelming, predictable conclusion. And as a result, it's unclear who this is for at all. Is it for young kids who will find simplified puzzles about right? or adults who grew up with Pikachu and can handle the more mature themes of the second half. It's still a cute, bubbly, animated adventure with humor unique to Pokemon, with unique Pokemon to meet, and a mystery to solve. But the mystery solving is long-winded, and the visuals are lackluster, and the gameplay is so basic it might as well not be there at all. Which, when I was watching Kyle play, Kyle Bossman, he was still playing the tutorial before he gave up on the game. So I just watched
He just gave up on the game?
Yeah, dude, it's just... I mean, it says it right there. If, like, how... It's super hand-holdy. It's just...
Yeah.
It's almost, like, condescending.
Oh,
with the way
interesting.
It's trying to teach you its game. Like, it really expects you to be a baby playing your first game, period.
Oh, wow. But then it has all the dark themes and stuff, so it's like...
Right. Yeah.
It's confusing. Yeah.
And the first game was pretty dark, too. I mean, Tim's dad has been kidnapped.
Right.
And you're still trying to find his dad in this game.
What?
Yeah.
20 years later.
No. No, it's been like... I think in the game it's only been like a couple of weeks.
But when's the first game come out? Didn't the first game come out like 10 years ago or something? It's old, isn't it?
It's probably close to 10 years old now. It was on the 3DS, so it wasn't super old, but it's, I mean, oldest relative, I guess now. It's probably 2014. That sounds right.
Yeah, about 10 years, about a decade.
About a decade. But other than that, it was like, it doesn't seem that long ago, and I think Detective Pikachu 1 holds up.
Yeah.
I'm staring at Detective Pikachu right now. I keep looking down the corner. I have my giant amiibo right there.
Yeah, he's like, better not be talking shit.
Yeah, holding his hand up. Stop! Yeah, that first game holds up. And I didn't see the second half. I'm just reading other people's reviews and saying what I saw. So that second half, those dark themes, I don't know where it goes, of course.
Right.
There could be some really weird, gross shit in there. And
it must be weird enough for them to bring it up a couple times. Like,
yeah.
Got pretty dark. Watch out.
Yeah. And I feel like the end of Scarlet and Violet, I'm not going to spoil it, but that does go places as well. That gets really weird with like some time shit. So... They're not afraid to get weird with Pokemon. It just, I feel like this game is too sterile. Like, the actual game portion of it is not weird. It's not Ace Attorney. There's more detective work in Ace Attorney than there is in this game.
Wow, that's interesting.
Like,
I was actually surprised how much detective work was in Ace Attorney, because I thought it was strictly going to be like just literally visual novel in the courtroom, and then I have to argue my case or whatever. But no, like second mission, I'm like in a crime scene,
right?
And I'm like, I don't think lawyers do this.
yeah, you're in a crime scene looking for evidence.
I'm keeping evidence in my pockets and stuff,
talking to witnesses. And stuff.
I'm like, no, none of this is.
Yeah,
this is weird.
Yeah, it is pretty weird. Yeah, Detective Pikachu almost has none of that.
Huh.
And when it does, it's like very, very specific. Like, we want you to click on this area, so you have to click on this area. And if you don't click on this area, if you click somewhere else, we're gonna yell at you about it.
That's unfortunate, because I've played like. There was another game I was playing not too long ago that was like just strictly you're a detective. Or whatever. I can't remember the name of it. We've talked about it, but I can't remember the name. And that's literally what it is. It's just like you're in a crime scene, point and click for evidence. Yeah. And, if you don't find the right stuff, you lose or whatever. But
right. I mean, like, there's a bunch of stuff. Like, recently, Curse of the Golden Idol is a good one. Return of the Obra Dinn is another really good one. These are different where like you're staring at a flat image and trying to use that together. Like with Return of Obra Dinn, it's all vector graphics.
Oh, okay.
And then you're trying to figure out what happened with this giant shipwreck and why everybody's dead on the shipwreck. And then from there, you're trying to figure out who's who and trying to match different context clues together. Curse of the Golden Idol is a fill in the word game where you have a set of words and stuff like that, and you're trying to click through and find the right paragraph to get the perfect statement.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Against something. And you can fuck up and, like, call out the wrong person.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Pentiment that came out recently was another example of that, where that also has a giant time skip as well, where you see the downfall of your actions happen.
Oh, wow.
And stuff
cool.
like that. And
like
you have
that.
to live with that later through the different chapters and stuff. What else? I mean, there's LA Noir.
I can't remember the name that the game I was playing, but you're like a detective, but then there's also like a news reporter character.
And Detective Pikachu.
Yeah, that sounds like it. No, but it's it might have been. It was probably on Game Pass. I probably don't.
Detective character. And
Next time I go down I'll send you a picture of it next time and be like, this is the game.
Yeah.
Because I know that we talked about it when I first started playing it, but that was like early episodes. That might have even been before we started the pod.
Yeah, that could have been like episode 0.
But like, it's one of those Game Pass games that I was like, oh, this is kind of small. I'll try to rip through it or whatever.
Right.
And it's actually kind of complicated.
Yeah, I'd be interested to find out what that is.
But you actually like walk around and stuff. Like I walked into a building, and there's like 2 or 3 different camera angles inside of the building to look for clues, and then you actually have to walk around and look for witnesses around the building. So you have to talk to people that were close by to see if they heard anything or whatever. And if you don't do things in a certain order, you can't progress and stuff. But
the Danganronpa people put out a new game this year. It came out around Baldur's Gate 3, I think, and that's why it got kind of swept under the rug.
Oh, really?
But we have seen it before. It's a Master Detective Chronicles Rain Code, I believe, is the name of the whole thing.
you think I'd remember a name like that?
But yeah, when we did see it, though, I mean, we were like, that's Danganronpa, except it looks like Persona, because you're going around a 3D city and stuff like that, and talking to people and everything.
I'd play it.
But that's something to look into. I don't know if that's on Game Pass. All the other Danganronpas are there.
I started playing the second one, but then we were also watching Game Grumps play it, and I was like, do I just want to finish them play?
Yeah.
Finish them playing it, and then I'll just start the third one.
Yeah.
By myself, because I don't know if I want to like progress in the game, because it is a visual novel,
right?
And there's so much of it that I've already seen them do. I can't even play the game without hearing their voices, you know. So it's like I might as well finish the second one, and then I'll just play the third one.
Yeah, we never finished those last episodes. There was like, I mean, we got to like 120 or something out of like 180 episodes.
I was gonna say we were still only like halfway of that game though. Yeah, there were still a lot of characters left when we.
Yeah, we were deep into that. It was crazy.
That's something we should definitely try to finish.
Yeah, but there's a third one and a fourth one.
Oh, I didn't know there was a fourth one. So maybe I'll just play those 2.
Danganronpa 4.1.
I'll play 3 and 4.
And then there's that board game one too. I forgot what it was called. Paradise Island something. We got through the easy news.
All right, all the good stuff. What's the rough news? Give it to me straight.
I don't even know where to begin with this, man. Everybody's losing their jobs. That's like the crux of this week, is that everybody's getting laid off.
Nice. That is horrible.
Layoffs and layoffs and layoffs. We're going to go with the big one first. I don't even have all of the articles here that I know I should be talking about, but I have the ones that I remembered. Which is kind of sad because there's that much that I could forget. But this is a big one. This is the big one that I messaged you right after we finished last week's episode.
Oh, yeah, right.
This came out. This is straight up just the Epic front page blog thing that they released. Layoffs at Epic, September 28th, 2023. This is Tim Sweeney himself writing this shit.
Wow.
Hi everyone. As we shared earlier, we are laying off around 16% of Epic employees. We're divesting Bandcamp and spinning off most of Super Awesome. For a while now, we've been spending way more money than what we earn, investing in next evolution of Epic and growing Fortnite as a metaverse-inspired ecosystem for creators. I have long been optimistic that we could power through this variation without layoffs, but in retrospect, I see that this was very unrealistic. While Fortnite is starting to grow again, the growth is driven primarily by creator content with significant revenue sharing, and this is a lower margin business than we had when Fortnite Battle Royale took off and began funding our expansions. Success with the creator ecosystem is a great achievement, but it means a major structural change to our economics. Epic folks around the world have been making ongoing efforts to reduce costs, including moving to net zero hiring and cutting operation spending on things like marketing and events. But we still ended up far short of financial sustainability. We conclude that layoffs are the only way, and now that doing them now on this scale will stabilize our finances. We're also making some divestitures. Bandcamp is joining Strong Trader, a music marketplace company supporting artists. Super Awesome's advertising business will become an independent company under Super Awesome brand, led by the current CEO. In Kids Web Service, the parent verification and consent management toolset will remain a part of Epic. Saying goodbye to people who have helped build Epic is a terrible experience for all. The consultation is that we're adequately funded to support laid-off employees. We're offering a severance package that includes 6 months base pay in the U.S., Canada, Brazil, 6 months of Epic paid healthcare. We're offering to accelerate people's stock option vesting schedule through the end of 2024, and are giving 2 additional years from today to exercise the options. In the U.S., we're also offering to vest any unearned profit sharing from their 401k, and we'll provide benefits including career transition services and visa support where we can. For those still at Epic, you'll hear more from your senior leaders about the path forward for your team. Epic's prospects to the future are strong. We have amazing game experiences across multiple platforms. We've built the best engine in the world, and we'll be hosting Unreal Fest next week to bring the community together and spotlight the things they are building with Unreal Engine and Unreal Engine Fortnite. Creators are making a living building for the Fortnite ecosystem with time and third-party games now exceeding first-party. We're cutting costs without breaking development or our core lines of business so we can continue to focus on our ambitious plans. About 2/3 of the layoffs were in teams outside of the core development. Some of our products and initiatives will land on schedule, and some may not ship when planned because they're under-resourced for the time being.
Well, whose fault is that?
A lot of this can be, this question is that for, yeah. We're okay with the scheduled trade-off if it means holding on to our ability to achieve our goals, get to the other side of profitability, and become a leading metaverse company. Tim. And then there's a frequently asked questions underneath. What does this mean for Epic's priorities? We are still focused on shipping our most succeed initiatives, the next Fortnite season and Fortnite Chapter 5, Del Mar, Sparks, and Juno. The schedules remain in place. Those are all like code names of other games that they're working on.
Yeah.
We aren't cutting any core businesses and are continuing to invest in games with Fortnite first-party development, the Fortnite creator ecosystem and economy. Rocket League and Fall Guys and services for developers are an Unreal Engine for games and enterprise. Epic Games Store, Epic Games Publishing, Epic Online Services, Kids Web Services, MetaHuman, Twinmotion, Quixel Mega Scans, Capturing Reality, ArtStation, Sketchfab, and Regular Fab. We are divesting from Bandcamp and spinning off most of Super Awesome. We'll have a long company meeting in October to talk about all of our efforts. What is the scope of the layoffs? We are laying off around 830 employees, or 16% of jobs. About 2/3 of the layoffs were in teams outside of core development. Around 250 people are leaving Epic through divestitures from Bandcamp and Super Awesome. Just 200 people. 250 people is just Bandcamp and Super Awesome. They got rid of almost 600 developers. 600. What?
That's crazy. And what's crazy is, like, especially with Fortnite, how they have, like, they have their hands in so many pots now because they got Marvel characters and Disney characters, and it's like they're not making enough money from all of that to keep everyone going. Like,
Yeah. So
and now you're like, oh, I'm sorry, we fired all these people, so we have to slow some production down. It's like, well, you didn't have to.
Right. So that last line reminded me of the other one. This is from the same story, but let me just pull up a different article for it. Mediatonic. Oh, shit, dude, this sucks.
Is this The Godfather?
Yeah.
Okay, alright, I was trying to figure that out.
Mediatonic, Fall Guys devs completely laid off, reports claim. It has been revealed through social circles that the Mediatonic, the creator of the quirky battle royale game Fall Guys, has been hit extremely hard by layoffs announced at Epic Games. In 2021, Epic Games acquired Mediatonic while on a buy-up spree. 2 years later, it has effectively dismantled the same company. According to reports online, the entire team has been laid off without warning, with senior members of staff at Mediatonic taking it to social airwaves to share their dismay at the news and to start encouraging other studios to consider those impacted by the layoffs for any open positions. And there's an update to this. In an update by Bloomberg's Jason Schreier, it was said that the entirety of the team at Mediatonic wasn't laid off, despite the reports. While it's true that Epic Games owned Mediatonic was hit by layoffs, it wasn't everyone. I think it came out that it was like 28 people or something like that for Mediatonic was the number that has been getting thrown around. It's not in this article at all. But the team is like 200 people. So that's like crazy. A quarter of their team.
Yeah.
And a lot of this is like, whose fault is this? Well, obviously it's Tim Sweeney, and Epic. They've been spending money hand over fist to get all of these Epic Store exclusives, just dumping money. And we now have reports on, I don't have any of that here, and we'll talk about that, I'm sure, soon, as more fire from this gets burned.
Right.
They spent so much money, man. It's like billions and billions of dollars on Epic Store exclusives. Right. They bought Mediatonic, the Fall Guys people, that same year. They bought Bandcamp that same year. They bought Harmonix that same year.
And now they're just like, sorry.
Yeah. They got into NFTs that same year.
That's what happened.
They opened creator codes that year. They what else? They did so much. And it all comes down to, hey, we're spending way too much than what we thought we were.
Right.
And it's like, well, no shit, dude.
Yeah, like.
And then like they're talking about like percentages of like creator percentages and stuff like that. Like, you set that shit, dude.
Right. The only person you should fire is your accountant.
Yeah.
That seems to be his fault.
So
someone didn't do the numbers right.
Right. And with this news, there was somebody who left. I didn't get any of the people that leaving studios.
Yeah.
Which I meant to. Steam Spy leaves Epic. The guy who created Steam Spy back in the day was hired on by Epic. Yeah. Steam Spy creator Sergey sorry about your last name, man. Goliankin is leaving Epic Games after 8 years. Sergey, his last name, Director of Publishing Strategy at Epic Games and the creator of Steam Analytics website Steam Spy, has announced his departure from the Fortnite maker after nearly 8 years, saying he is not a good fit for the new version of Epic.
Huh.
His career in games industry spans more than 2 decades. He gained renowned after establishing Steam Spy in 2015, a project he continued to run after joining Epic as Eastern European head of publishing in 2016. A year later, he became the company's director of publishing strategy with specific focus on Epic's store, and he remained in that role since. So basically, this guy is the whole back end to how these stores run.
Yeah.
Like, and he more than anybody knows like why things sell the way they do, what makes things sell the way they do.
Right.
Putting a game on the front page does, what exclusivities do. I don't know what the future of Epic means.
I mean, that seems like a pretty intense, for sure.
That sounds really disheartening, especially after all the Unity shit that we had last week.
Yep.
And talking about, hey, Unreal is a great alternative. It's like, literally minutes later, dude, we stopped recording, and
what is going on under the sheets of the video game industry?
Yeah.
It seems like they're all kind of making weird decisions.
It seems like people are just spending money and trying to chase trends in the wrong ways. And it really sucks that people's livelihoods have to be on the line for this. Like, layoffs are always been a thing, like, and it sucks, definitely, and this is why we need unions in games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That doesn't always save you, though.
No.
We're going to see why in a second. It's just a bummer. It's just a real bummer. It's sad, and it gets sadder, man. It gets so sad. Here's our next story. This is from Kotaku. This is by Zach Swenson. Sega cancels Hyenas and other unannounced games. Creative Assembly is facing layoffs.
Oh.
Creative Assembly is the people who make the Total War games and a bunch of RTSs and everything like that.
Oh, okay.
Hyenas was their extraction shooter thing that we saw. Was it the place? I don't know if it was Summer Games Fest or PlayStation.
Yeah.
But it was amongst all the other extraction hero shooter things that we were seeing.
Right.
But this one was like, you're breaking into a building or breaking into a bank thing, and then there's other teams breaking into other bank things, and then people are trying to like take each other's bank loads and stuff.
Oh, that's right. And
they were wearing like Sonic masks and Richard Nixon masks and stuff like that.
Like the Payday,
Yes.
Tarkov,
Right.
combined
But it was
game.
like Borderlands humor.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, and it's not coming anymore. This was like their passion project, so this is kind of a bummer that
is
this was even like they wanted to chase the trend of it being an online game, but from what I understand is that the studio really wanted to try something different.
Yeah.
And this is what got them to try something different. They also did Alien Isolation. I forgot that. It says it right here.
Oh wow, that's a good game.
Yeah, it's a really good game. That's also something different than their normal things. So
right.
I mean, they've proven themselves that they can do other things. But Sega has canceled a yet-to-be-released Hyenas, an extraction shooter set in space that was in development at Total War and Alien Isolation studio Creative Assembly. The publisher also canceled several other unannounced games as a part of structural reforms across its European operations. Announced in June 2022. I thought it was a lot earlier than that, or a lot more recent than that, but I guess it was last year. Hyenas was described as a sci-fi space piracy multiplayer FPS. pitting teams of players against each other and NPCs as they fought to steal valuable items and pieces of pop culture, like Sonic statues and Rubik's Cubes. On September 11th, the game wrapped up most of its recent beta, which they had like a closed beta. It did okay. They were like, we're going back to the drawing board. We're going to fix everything that we can. 17 days later, Sega and the developers behind Hyenas confirmed it has been canceled.
Wow.
The news broke Thursday via a post on Twitter
That's
from
crazy.
the official Hyenas account confirming that it had ended development on the shooter, and it was saying the decision to cancel the game wasn't made lightly. We knew our plans were ambitious, said Creative Assembly, and we knew we were diving headfirst into a competition with some of the greats. But we believed in the journey, and we're proud to have taken every step along the way. We'll hope you'll join in remembering the action-packed Zero-G chaos and the die-hard community of its players who helped us make it special. Following the reports from IGN that Creative Assembly may face layoffs, the studio tweeted its own separate statement after confirming the cancellation of Hyenas. In it, the dev team explained that it had begun the difficult process of redundancy consultation. Here's the direct tweet right here. And click into that shit. Bam, bam. We have made the incredibly difficult decision to begin a redundancy consultation process in some of the areas of our UK operations alongside ending development of Hyenas. This may unfortunately result in job losses. We fully understand that it has a significant impact on our people and whether they are directly affected or not, which we are truly sorry. We fully understand that this has a significant impact on our people, whether they are directly affected or not, which we are truly sorry for. We have always aimed to operate as people-first studio. This is foundational to our values and culture. While we must go through this incredibly difficult process, we will prioritize supporting our people at every step. For those whose jobs are at risk, we will work to reallocate them into other available roles with California, with Creative Assembly, CA. Within CA. Whether
with
possible,
California.
ultimately minimize any job losses. Our commitment to our projects and players has not changed. We will deliver incredible experiences to our players all over the world in decades to come. While this is a difficult moment across Creative Assembly, we'll look forward to sharing more about our future plans. That's another one.
That's so weird.
It got canceled. Creative Assembly has a game coming out next week. Total War Pharaohs comes out next week.
Total War Pharaohs?
Yeah, it's Total War, but it's all Egypt.
Oh, okay. I thought you were making a joke.
No, that's the real game.
That sounds like a spoof of a game.
No, they're all named like that. They have Total War Warhammer, then those trilogy games, but they're all named
But it's
like
usually
that.
Total Warfare.
No, it's Total War, whatever.
Oh, what's Total Warfare?
That's nothing.
It's nothing?
No,
okay.
You're adding two different things, man. You're adding Modern Warfare.
Modern Warfare, that's what I'm thinking now. Okay, Total War Pharaohs, though. That's just...
Total War Pharaohs.
Oh, it's not... Oh, it's two separate.
No shit. What are you thinking?
I thought it was what I just said, but I thought it was like a spoof of another game, like Total War Pharaohs.
3 separate words.
No, but it didn't sound like it. It sounded like you just said Total War Pharaohs.
Total War Pharaohs.
Like Total Warfare, but Total War Pharaohs.
Oh.
Like I was just imagining Egyptian people in military clothes.
Kind of.
It was just a really racist image is what I had, and it doesn't matter what I was thinking. The
but-
point is it's not that,
Just in,
and
like,
I was very confused.
Sand cloaks? Is that what
It was weird.
Egyptian army men wear?
A lot of
Sand
like
camo?
half animal people and guns and
That might be in there. I don't know if the total.
Anubis.
I mean, Total
Anubis.
Warhammer, Total War Warhammer. Those games are all. That's all the fantasy stuff of
Right.
Warhammer. I think they do have a Total War Warhammer 40K as well, I believe. But I don't know on how weird the mythology stuff of Total War gets because they've done Rome and
Yeah.
Italy and the Three Kingdoms stuff and a bunch of all these different legendary
That's true.
mythos and stuff like that. So I don't know. That's a bummer though. And they have a game coming out next week, and they just laid off a bunch of people, and a game that the team was actually excited on.
Right.
I don't see anything about how many people they laid off.
Still get any residuals from that game?
From Total War?
I mean, whatever game that, if they're involved in the game, but they got laid off before.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Probably not. I mean, you don't get residuals from games. Residuals from games is like gone. That doesn't exist. But bonuses usually happen for developers. If a game sells well, like everybody gets a giant payday for Christmas. Like, that's a huge deal. And especially that's why people try to get games out at certain times and certain quarters.
For sure.
Because quarterly bonuses are a real thing that fund these studios.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's strange that they were so far along with this game and canceled it like that.
Yeah.
Or they just felt like even the server costs weren't even enough to keep going,
It's very weird.
I don't know. It feels like they kind of just like killed it without giving a shot. I don't remember anyone talking bad about the game, but I don't remember anybody talking about the beta period. I just remember it was like, that's happening now, and then it ended, and that was that.
Huh.
And then it seemed like, that was it. We're going back, and then 17 days later, it said that they canceled it, which is so strange.
That's very strange. Yeah.
And the way that they announced it was really weird. Like, they were like, Sega has a new game coming, and you know what it is. And it was like this teaser trailer thing. And then obviously nobody knew anything about what it was because Hyenas is not an established IP at all.
Right.
But it was because they, like, use Sonic likenesses and stuff as, like, the collectibles in the game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, what a bummer. What a bummer. Fucking A, dude. Here's another one. This is the last one I have. I know there's more. Oh, I just deleted it. I didn't mean to do that. I'll pull that back up. It's not just third party. It's not just third party. We got first party ones too. Naughty Dog is reportedly the latest studio to cut developer jobs. The Uncharted developers laying off around 25 contracted developers and putting development of The Last of Us multiplayer spinoff on ice. Naughty Dog is reportedly cutting some of its contracted staff. According to Kotaku report, the Sony-owned studio is now not renewing the contracts of around 25 temporary workers across the numerous departments. With quality assurance staff primarily affected. Full-time staff were apparently not impacted. Naughty Dog is one of the jewels in Sony's first-party crown, developing platform exclusives like The Last of Us and Uncharted series. Back in January, a live-action interpretation of The Last of Us debuted on HBO, blah, blah, blah. Earlier this year, Bloomberg reported the development of the multiplayer game slowed down due to poor internal review from Bungie. Remember talking about that? They were like, they're making Last of Us Factions, right?
Yeah.
There's Last of Us multiplayer and stuff. And
Oh,
Bungie
right.
was like, hey, we think this game is okay, but like, we can't monetize this. Like, this is this free-to-play multiplayer game, and like, we don't have a way to fund this. We don't have a way to keep it going. Like, nobody's gonna buy skins for this game,
Yeah, right.
Nobody's running around with Ellie and a fucking boots and shit.
Yeah.
And like
There's
all
not
that kind
any
of stuff.
real microtransaction possibilities, or
Right.
because you're just continuing a story.
Yeah, right. So, like, what... Basically, Sony has this initiative, right, that we've talked about, to make all of these online multiplayer games, because it's something that's super lacking in their catalog. And I agree. You know, they don't have a lot of multiplayer games. Their bread and butter is single player stuff, and they weren't trying to get rid of. They weren't. It's not Hard Dogs.
Oh, okay.
I was like, I think our dogs are fine.
I
They're
thought I heard
still-
that. I was like, is there a dog in the road?
Yeah, no, it's the other neighbor's dogs. It's not good. But yeah, they have this initiative to make more multiplayer games because it's something that's lacking in their catalog. They're not getting rid of single party games. They're single player games, but they're like, hey, on top of all these games, we feel like we have a place that we're lacking. We'd like to bolster that.
Right.
So they bought Bungie. They bought Evo for fighting games, you know, the giant tournament. And yeah, they've been making waves and trying to do that. They announced a bunch of new ones the last 2 PlayStation events ago.
Yeah.
The showcase one that we were like, yeah, that kind of seemed okay, but like we saw Foam Stars there and a bunch of other really cool things.
Right.
Yeah. This is the one that seemed like they were kind of like, I don't know, this was like the crown jewel of all of it.
Yeah.
This was like the game to like spearhead all of this stuff.
And you think that especially with the TV show and stuff, that would
Right.
be even more reason to do it.
Right, and I don't think that it's not because they don't want to do it. I just don't think that they can get this shit together.
Yeah.
I don't think they can make this fun. They're trying to make a...
Yeah.
I mean, Last of Us Factions, the game that they're trying to make, or the multiplayer mode, was just like a deathmatch kind of thing.
Oh, weird.
And then they're trying to, like, funnel story and stuff into that.
Yeah.
And it's like, what is this game supposed to be? Are
Yeah.
you just making an Last of Us MMO at that point? Because then just make that.
Right, I thought it was
Right.
going to be more like State of Decay.
Right, that would make sense, right? Because you have outposts and stuff like that. What factions is, or whatever the actual multiplayer mode that it's supposed to be, was never that. So I wondered what they were gonna do with this whole time, and they were like, we're putting story cutscenes in it. And it's like, okay, well, do you play like a few matches and then a story cutscene pops up?
Yeah, that's
Just
weird.
like Exoprimal does that.
Yeah.
Because that's really weird for a Last of Us game. Like, I wouldn't want that. I want no shit story, so like...
Right, the thing that you've made, yeah, that's what made the game.
Right.
Was the
Yeah, it's
epic
so
story
strange.
involved.
It's very strange, but they announced this game, again, way too early. It was leaked in 2017. I think it was 2017, that they were making a Last of Us multiplayer, and that was going to be part of Last of Us 2. They showed off Last of Us 2, and Last of Us 2 came out, and they said the multiplayer was getting delayed because they had future ambitions. So technically this game has been announced since 2019, 2020, or maybe just 2020, maybe it was 2021. Neil Druckmann came out on stage to Jeff Keighley's Summer Games Fest and didn't show anything, but showed a couple of screenshots of fucking concept art, and it was all butthurt that the game leaked. And it was like, well, you're gonna reveal it today, but you had nothing to show for it to begin with.
Right.
So like, what are
you mad about? Yeah.
Yeah, and then they had like a 5-minute conversation on stage about what this game is supposed to be, but we never saw it.
Right.
We never. And then even then, it kind of seemed like they didn't know how to talk about this. Like, it was still very, like, tiptoey around, hey, this isn't what you think it is.
There's only so many things it could be.
Right, but...
With an undead multiplayer game.
But even that, what is that as, like, games as a service? Like, what are you pitching here?
Yeah, right.
Are you just pitching a team deathmatch mode? Like, are you just doing Team Fortress with Last of Us?
Mm-hmm.
Which is fine, but just call it that, you know? Don't
Yeah.
make it this weird story thing. I don't know. 25 people lost their jobs. They're contracted workers, so eventually they were going to finish that contract. It does suck that it's way earlier than what that contract was supposed to be.
Yeah.
But this is another story of we're chasing a trend here and we're putting people's lives at risk because of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because...
And now there's been enough of it that it's like suspicious. Like, it's like, what? Like, there's been too many cases now where it's like, it almost feels like there's something else that isn't being said.
Right.
Happening. And maybe I'm just a paranoid conspiracy theorist, but...
Well,
you know what I mean?
I'm sure when we get the next Circana report for next month,
Yeah.
We'll see a little bit more of what it is. But, I mean, it's straight up that the pandemic happened and the games business is a for-profit, like, thing, and when profits go down, shit goes down.
Yeah, that's true. We're not trapped indoors.
Right, and 2020 was the most games ever sold, period, in 1 year, and most hardware ever sold, period, in 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
We saw the most acquisitions, period, in 1 year.
Yep.
I think most of that was 2021, actually. But still, this was all because, hey, we're all inside, we're all spending money on these things, the business is great and stuff. We're not watching it. Oh, hey, we're out of it.
Oh, we're back to normal again. Yeah.
Oh, the fucking Embracer shit. I don't have any of that, but Embracer's fucking... And we talked a little bit about that last week.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they're fucking... They lost that $2.1 billion deal a while ago, and they're freaking out now.
I bet.
They're laying off people across every studio. And then just completely axing games and axing studios too.
I mean, you gotta if you lose that much money.
Yeah, I think when that deal didn't go through, they said like we're going to basically sell off what we can and then like exploit Lord of the Rings is what they said, because they in the middle of buying all this they bought Lord of the Rings.
Wow.
They just own Lord of the Rings.
They just own the whole franchise.
They own everything but the book rights. I think that's still under the Tolkien estate.
Oh, interesting.
As far as I know. Which, I mean, the Lord of the Rings is the most sold book ever.
Yeah.
So, it makes sense on why you'd want to keep that. But they bought, I think it was like $400 million or something crazy like that.
That's crazy, yeah.
They spent... That might even be lowballing it. I think maybe that's what Amazon spent on the license to use Lord of the Rings. But it's like they bought Crystal Dynamics and they bought fucking Square Enix Montreal. That was the other one. They bought the fucking Marvel Avengers studio.
Yeah. And
the Deus Ex studio. Or Lara Croft and Deus Ex.
Wow.
The more... But then they took those IPs with them. They took Deus Ex. They took Lara Croft. They took the other big one from them, Gex. They took fucking... a couple of other Crystal Dynamics IPs too. They just laid off a bunch of them as well.
So weird.
Yeah. And, like, they have games that they're working on. And not only that, they're supporting studios for other companies. Like, Crystal Dynamics we talked about is supporting Xbox right now on Perfect Dark. Like, co-development, 90% of it is Crystal Dynamics doing that work.
Wow.
And then the Initiative was their quadruple A team is basically gone and has fallen apart. And then... The other team, Square Enix Montreal, I forgot what they changed their name to. It's just once they got bought, they changed their name. But they're doing support work on, like, fucking Forza and Fable and shit. Like, These studios aren't just working on their own stuff; they're working
Right.
on other people's stuff, and then you're firing people from somebody else's job.
Yeah.
now.
So what kind of chain effect? Is that the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, chain reaction.
Yeah, chain reaction. Yeah. What's that gonna do in like a month from now or
Yeah,
something?
I don't know. I mean, it's the same thing with the Unity stuff, right?
I mean, I guess we're just gonna get a lot of independent games in the next few years. You know.
I mean, and
a lot of independent studios.
And that is the cycle of these things. You have all of these studios. I mean, it just all happened very abruptly.
Yeah.
But that's how this is supposed to work, is that you have a major studio. It makes a bunch of great games.
Mm-hmm.
Those people go off and make their own studios, and then
Mm-hmm.
eventually those studios make great games, and they get bought up, and then they sell, and then the cycle begins anew.
Right.
And that's how these things happen. That's how the majority of these studios were even in these situations at first to begin with.
That's true, yeah.
It's like Insomniac wasn't PlayStation owned up until recently.
Yeah, so it'll just be a more extreme version of that with like just all these people getting laid off, starting up their own things. And
Yeah, I want to say... I'll try to find more stories about what happened this week with other studios and stuff like that.
yeah.
But, like, a team of QA... I forgot what studio it was, but a team of QA people unionized at a studio. And then rather than, like, dealing with the ramifications of, like, firing one and paying severance and stuff, they just got rid of the whole team.
Wow.
It's all gone. No union, because there's nothing to unionize about. We're just gone.
You're just gone.
I think that might have been Epic. I think that might have been an Epic thing recently. Because Epic is also paying $250 billion right now to the U.S. government for dark practices.
Dark practices.
You remember that? I mean, you probably don't remember that news story, but that was that was like a year ago. It's hard to think about what we talked about on the podcast that long ago, but I'm sure we talked about this.
Yeah.
But the state of California, I think it was the state of California, sued Epic for dark practices and gambling with children. Dark patterns is what they called it. Dark patterns in child gambling.
Huh.
And malicious intent.
Yeah.
They fined him $250 billion in the middle of all of this. And, like, buying spree and everything like that.
Right.
And then you have the Epic and Apple deal going. Epic, like, Fortnite's not on Apple OS because of all of the Tim Sweeney shit of microtransactions and stuff like that, trying to get bigger cuts and stuff like that.
Right.
And so there's been that lawsuit happening in the background that whole time still. And
Wow.
And, like... It's also Fortnite's still not on iOS because Tim Sweeney can't keep his mouth shut. I mean, I guess I don't think Epic is privately owned. I think it's publicly owned. I think the public facingness is more private. I don't know how many people own stock in Epic.
Yeah.
But I know that there's some key companies that own stock in Epic.
Right.
And about 40% of it is Tencent. And Tencent, the giant Chinese monster of a company. And Tencent's out there just buying shit secretly.
Yeah.
They're just doing it. And then Saudi Arabia's out there just fucking buying shit secretly. And Saudi Arabia's not buying shit. They're not, like, full out buying studios. That's not their bag. They don't like doing that. They like putting in a little bit here, a little bit there, and then come back to it a little bit later, and then slowly do it so you don't notice it. So now they have like 16% of Nintendo or something crazy like that.
That is crazy,
and, yeah. And just because they buy 2 or 3% at a time and then come back, and they keep doing
just
that.
Try to keep under the radar.
Yeah, I think the last studio they bought up straight was SNK. The Metal Slug and Final Fight and all of those games.
Oh, interesting.
Metal Slug Tactics is coming out at some point.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about that studio. I don't know anything about Saudi Arabia game development. I don't think any games are coming out there specifically.
Yeah.
But, like, what does a studio headed by the Saudi Arabia financial fund look like?
I don't know.
And what does that hierarchy look like? Who's answering to? Are you just answering to the prince? You know, that's crazy.
Right.
I don't have any more news. That's really it's a bummer to.
Yeah, what a sad week.
It really sucks, dude. We're going to see a little bit more of it, and probably a lot more of it within the next 6 months, and there's probably going to be a few key companies.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to see one from Xbox soon. I don't know how big that's going to be. That's going to be a monster of layoffs, but they just bought Activision. There's going to be some redundancies they're going to have to get rid of. It's just a lot of the... I mean, they kept Bethesda pretty much Bethesda, so I wonder how much of it's going to stay the same. But Activision has been so rotten to the core for so long, and there's so many studios that have just been, like, pushed into the Call of Duty train that aren't a studio anymore, that they kind of just need to be all ripped out, and, like, there's no fucking Vicarious Visions anymore right now. Vicarious Visions made the Tony Hawk 1+2 remake and stuff we were talking about last week. They also did the Crash remakes and the Spyro remake, and like they have this long history of just crazy games and ports of games and stuff. They did like all the Game Boy Tony Hawks back in the day, which played completely different than the 3D ones. And then they got absorbed into Blizzard for the Diablo 3 remake.
Right.
Or Diablo 2 remake, or whatever. Warcraft 3, Diablo 2. And then Warcraft 3 came out, and Warcraft 3 was a fucking jumbled mess.
Yeah.
It was a dumpster fire. Diablo 2 was definitely a little bit more... It was better received. But I remember Warcraft 3, it was like, why did you even fucking get rid of the studio for this?
Right.
Like, these people are making it's the most profitable Tony Hawk game period, most sold Tony Hawk game period, but also one of the most sold games of that year. And you just dump them because it's for Warcraft. It's not even Call of Duty, it's Warcraft 3 Reforged.
Right.
And it's so mind-blowing. They still have Toys for Bob. Toys for Bob is still making games. I mean, it's good that they're making it. I don't know why they kept that studio around out of all the other ones.
Right.
Because Skylanders ain't a thing anymore. There's the most recent Skylanders game. They're looking at complete copies. They're like $900 now.
Wow.
Yeah, dude, Skylanders is expensive.
That's crazy.
It's like Skylanders Swap Force or whatever.
Yeah.
The most recent one on Switch, it's like $900 something.
Jesus.
It's not even a sealed copy, a complete copy.
Oh, yeah. Still, that's...
Yeah, if you want a complete Skylanders collection right now, you're going like $15,000. Like, it is dumb expensive for all of that shit.
That's
because
crazy.
it's all in landfills now and stuff like that.
Still, that's...
So what happened to Guitar Hero controllers?
Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah. Now it's the podcast and a podcast.
It's
See,
me.
There's the fucking game, dude.
Yeah, that's the game.
Or is that the other one? I think this one's the PlayStation one. Because PlayStation was making one called, like, Game Changers or whatever.
There was, like,
Or
a
Face
couple different
Breakers.
payday...
Fair Games. That's that one.
Yeah.
Okay. So that one looks exactly like Hyenas did, which I could... Before we kill the episode, I can just bring up Hyenas. Real quick. In memoriam, Hyenas. I remember Jeff Grubb when they they were teasing this game. They were like, "Oh, it's a new fucking Echo the Dolphin game," because it was an animal noise, and they like slowed it down so it sounded like it was underwater or some stupid shit. They like did the thing from Star Trek.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was dumb. It was dumb. It's not Echo the Dolphin. But that would be funny.
Yeah.
It would be funny if we got a new Echo the Dolphin in 2023.
Out of everything, yeah, that'd be great.
Or opposite years. This isn't the reveal trailer, but this is a trailer of it.
Oh, right, and you're like floating around and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, he was wearing a Nixon mask. Atari.
Yeah, it's like what's it called?
Reminds me a lot of Lawbreakers. I don't know if you remember Lawbreakers, but that was another. It was a hero shooter, a hero arena shooter thing, but it was 0G.
No, I don't think so.
I have it on my shelf over there.
It just makes me think of it's so silly.
Yeah. He's wearing a shitty Sonic outfit too.
They love that foam. It's a big thing they like to.
Yeah.
No gravity's
like
really
Prey.
cool.
Did you ever play that Prey reboot?
No.
That you get a foam gun and then you can like make platforms and you get to high spots with it and stuff. Which that's cool because you're like stealthing around monsters and shit in that game.
Yeah, they really pushed the Sonic thing.
Yeah, right.
Well, I guess it's Sega, yeah. That would make sense.
That's their Mickey Mouse.
I was like, they're really pushing that.
Sega.
Yeah, that looked cool.
It looked cool, but also it doesn't look memorable other than now that we're going to remember it as the game that never came.
Right. Yeah, there definitely wasn't anything in that game where I was like, oh, I've played that before in some other realm.
Right.
But still, very sad to see such a practically finished game not even make it to the Game Pass, you know, like.
And so many prolific developers, like, just fucking gone. Like, that's insane, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's other studios that are just, like, fucking off, you know? Like, I don't want ill will on anyone or anything. But, like, where's this shit with Rocksteady, you know? Where's Rocksteady been at with fucking this shitty Suicide Squad game?
Yeah, right.
You know? Chasing that trend. Where was those layoffs? Where's the BioWare layoffs after Anthem and Mass Effect Andromeda and now Dreadwolf has been MIA for what seems like 3 or 4 years? Mm-hmm. It's supposedly coming out next year, but... And then they just announced a new Mass Effect, too. Not too long ago. But then you have, like, fucking... People leaving the studios that are... I don't know. We talked about Kamiya leaving last week with Platinum Games, which sucks. But I'd imagine he's going to make a new studio.
Right.
Because Shinji Mikami, who was the old Resident Evil dudes, along with Kamiya, left his current studio of Tango which was under Xbox, and they made The Evil Within and Ghostwire recently, or Hi-Fi Rush this year.
Oh, word.
Shinji Mikami announced that he was leaving shortly after Hi-Fi Rush was out. He was basically gone at that point, and hand over the reins to the newer developer, or the newer director. I imagine we're going to see something from them, but when you have a hit to a studio that's 600 people big, you know?
Right.
Like, 600 developers trying to find new homes and new outlets and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Guaranteed some of them moved to be there.
Right.
From
that's
far and wide.
All the fucking
absolutely.
time,
For a
dude.
big company like that, for any sort of
All
big...
the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
All the time. There was one other one. I don't have the story up here. I might as well pull it up because it's video game adjacent. Oh. Here's another one. Twitch makes another round of layoffs. Latest cuts limited to customer support as streaming services relies more on outsourcing. Twitch has laid off employees for the second time this year. Today's cuts were reported by Today of Stream's Zach Busey.
Whoa there.
Busey? I think it's Zach Busey.
I hope so. That would be what an awful name. You big bussy.
Who said cuts were significantly smaller than the March round, which included more than 400 people. We did talk about that around this time.
Yeah. Which Twitch is being...
Oh, no. This layoff... I don't know. The March cut came as a part of plans from parent company Amazon to reduce payroll by 9,000 employees. So, are they saying that March is they laid off 9,000 employees? I don't know. Twitch just laid off a bunch of people as well.
Yeah.
Because it's cheaper to hire contractors, probably. Twitch is also in a downward spiral right now.
Yep. A lot of people are using TikTok.
Yeah.
And other platforms to stream.
And it sucks because games are selling more than ever, you know? Games are being streamed more than ever. Like,
there's just more options. Twitch had its peak, and then they kind of, like, got a little greedy, and now other options are becoming better.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's what it seems like. I don't know. Like, a lot more people are streaming, or multi-streaming. I'm seeing that a lot more. Like,
yeah,
it's not just Twitch or just YouTube. It's both, and then TikTok and Facebook.
Yep.
And that's a lot. That sounds like way too much to keep up with. But that's the new thing to do. And then, what's the other one? Kick or whatever is the one that people are jumping ship to. That seems like it's getting more and more people, but, like, I checked the other day, and, like, the top stream game was, like, 3,000 people. It's nowhere close to, like, Twitch. The top stream games are, like, 50, 60,
I was gonna say, even
hundreds of
TikTok
thousands.
you can get a few thousand people in a couple hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, so it's not there yet, and Kick is still in beta, is what it says on their little tag thing. It seemed like that was the place where, like, all of the toxic people were going.
Yeah.
Because it was just everybody that was getting banned off Twitch is just finding a new home somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
But now it seems like a lot more people are going that way because of revenue shares. After Twitch did that 50-50 split and stuff like that.
Right.
And yeah, it's, I don't know. Games are making more money than ever, but somehow we're spending a lot more money than ever. I mean, it makes sense because games take 5 or 6 years to make now, and then it's not a 2-year turnaround like it was, I mean, even 10 years ago. I mean, some studios are still pumping out games like that. From Software is a developer that's pumping out games like that. It's almost on a 2-year cadence where we get a new From Software game.
Yeah, depending on what type of game it is. Just some games are just so big,
right?
or so immaculate now.
Right, and then trying to annualize those bigger games is such a hard feat where you need 10 studios to work on. And
Yeah.
we see that with Call of Duty. Call of Duty doesn't take a year to make. Call of Duty takes 4 years to make, and there's 3 studios on a repeat making them all. Or 4 studios if you count Raven, which is like a support studio for the other 3. And then on the other side of that, you have Ubisoft with the Assassin's Creed series for so long.
Right.
Those are also games that take multiple years of development. They just have like every team under their belt working on each piece of the game.
Right, they have all the different branches and stuff.
Yeah, and then you see credits for those games, and they're like 3 hours long because it's like
Yeah, because they have to
thousands
thank
and thousands
everyone,
of
yeah.
people. Yeah, like it makes sense. These games are expensive. It's a lot of money to make these games. I have so much resentment for CEOs, for the way the suits have been hounding and draining money out of these companies. We talked about fucking what's his fuck from EA getting $45 million or something like that.
Yeah.
We found out that Last of Us Part 2 cost $250 million to make. $250 million to make for a 7-year development cycle. And this dude's walking around with $40 million, and
Right.
that's without bonuses.
Almost a quarter of the total.
Yeah, without bonuses. That's insane. That's insane. That's how many people. How many salaries does that pay? You know, how many
Right.
just baseline salaries? Not even your execs or anything like how many people, and none of them are taking pay cuts. But then on the other side of the water with Japan and stuff, Nintendo's not. They haven't taken a hit at all.
Yeah.
At all. And when they do take a hit, the higher ups take pay cuts. Like the rest of the teams don't suffer because one guy's eating good. It's like, hey, we're all going. Everybody's in the shitter right now, so the person who eats good is gonna step down and like even
for
everything
sure.
out.
And I mean that would be ideally how it should be, but
Right.
America's selfish.
It's yeah. I mean, it is. It's just straight up that. It's capitalism. It's selfishness.
Yeah.
It's a lack of what I guess morality. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, how do you sleep at night knowing that Bobby Kotick is a great example. Bobby Kotick pulls in $149 million one year, and that same year he lays off 800 people.
Right.
Also, Call of Duty is the most successful game every year. Like, it's just... And then on top of that,
Yeah,
we
make
talk
it
about
make
the
sense.
EA dudes. Yeah, we talk about the EA dudes. I mean, you have Madden, you have FIFA, you have fucking all of those games under their belt.
Yeah.
Not including, like, Battlefield or Star Wars or any... fucking... Yeah, it's baffling. It's baffling. And we're going to keep talking about how baffling it is, like, with more of this. I feel like this is the third business quarter for most companies. That third business quarter will end in December, and then we'll start the final business quarter for 2023, January through March. Will be that. We might see some shit until then. I hope it's not too bad.
Yeah,
But,
especially with the holidays coming up. Can't be firing people at the holidays.
yeah, the Telltale just fired a bunch of people. Speaking of that, the husk of what that company was now revived from the dead, just laid off people again.
Wow.
I don't remember how much that is. I don't have the story in front of me, but that did just happen not too long ago as well. This week has been some shit. we talked about what we were playing before this, so I have a happier thing to end on. So I was trying to like elongate it, but then I just started getting more mad about the other shit and pulling up stories and stuff because it keeps reminding me of, hey, these people lost their job. It's crazy because these people also lost their job. And then fucking some dude at top is sitting with a few extra $1 million at the end of the day because...
Who doesn't even play video games, probably.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's the worst part. Half these people that are at the top of these video game things don't even play video games.
Yeah, Tim Sweeney's the fucking worst of it, dude. Tim Sweeney is...
Fucking losers.
I'd imagine Tim Sweeney plays games. That dude's just fucking... That dude's so far nerd that when you pull up the Wikipedia article for nerd, he's probably the guy who pops up. That dude's just super cocky. He's, I don't want to compare him to the Elon Musk of the gaming world right now.
Wow.
But we're getting close.
Okay.
We're getting close. All he needs to start doing is calling people pedophiles for no reason.
That's weird.
And then that would be where we're at with him.
Huh.
Other than that, he's just a guy who likes to not spend a lot of money recklessly. I mean, with his own company, it seems it's been pretty reckless.
Yeah.
But he's just very vocal on Twitter with a lot of very rash opinions and unfiltered because he has millions and millions or billions of dollars. I mean, he created the Unreal Engine.
Right.
He created Epic Games and then went public with it and sold 40% of it to Tencent or whatever. He's still the majority shareholder of Epic Games as well. I think he himself has 49% or something like that. Fucking mind-blowing. We're gonna call it there. I think that's an episode.
I'm trying to think of something silly.
Yeah. We'll have more silly shit to talk about next week. No big deal.
I didn't play anything else.
Yeah, me neither. There'll be more things coming, of course. I have a few more Elden Ring episodes to put up. I think there's another Home Buddy episode that I'll be putting out before that goes on a hiatus for a little bit. I finished Toy Story 3, so those episodes will be coming out. We'll be playing more Resident Evil tonight, probably.
Nice.
Yeah. I do have things I do want to play, but I don't want to say what they are until they happen, because I always feel bad I want to play this right now, and then I just don't end up doing it because I feel like playing something else 10 minutes later.
Right, for sure.
It's so much of what I want to do at that moment kind of thing. But yeah, that's a podcast, man, I think. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for listening. Like, comment, subscribe down below. If you want to donate to the channel, there's a Cash App down below. I still haven't made a Patreon. I am sorry. I still need to do all that stuff. It sucks that time is a circle. So then a week passes, and then I'm like, oh shit, I still haven't done that because I was doing other things. My bad. That will be coming, but until then, donate to the Cash App.
Yeah, we have Cash Apps and Venmos. You can just put cash in the mail and send it to us.
I think that's illegal.
I won't tell anybody.
I think mailing money is technically illegal.
Well, tell that to the guy who mails me $20 every day for my birthday. Not every day.
Every day.
That would be amazing. I would love that. Every birthday.
Every birthday.
Just a $20 bill.
I think paying for things with cash is illegal.
No.
I don't know. I don't know the legality of sending money.
I thought this was America.
I just remember it being illegal.
I'll do whatever I want with my money.
Maybe it's like illegal to send it through customs.
If I can snort cocaine with my money, I can send it in the mail.
Yeah. But
all completely legal things.
Speaking of mail, if you don't want to send us money, if you like to have something physical, I have a Pokemon store down below. You can use the code for the Mercari, save $10 off your first order. Any order on Mercari. It doesn't even have to be my Pokemon store. It could be any store, but it still helps me out.
Mm-hmm.
And then
you get a cool card.
Yeah.
that you can hold.
Yeah, or you buy somebody else's shit and then.
And he touched it first, so you're gonna have Ben DNA.
Well, not if it's somebody else's stuff.
Oh. Yeah, that's true. I don't have any cards, but if you want something physical for me, I'll sell you some hair.
But if it will help us out. We do need new stuff to help make our setup more. We want to upgrade some things. It's coming along. I can do it by myself, but every extra helps. Definitely.
Yeah, and then you get to kind of feel like you're a part of it. Like,
Yeah.
wow, I was there. I helped them sound better because I gave them $400.
I mean, even it's not even just feeling. You guys are a part of it. I mean, you're watching it. You're listening. Some of you comment. Some of you don't. That's fine. Don't. It's okay. But
Yeah,
just
no
thank
pressure.
you for listening. Thank you for being here. I have so much fun doing this. This is a huge passion project of mine that I kind of just wrote Patrick here for, but he's a lot of fun to talk to.
I'm here.
Yeah, we love talking about video games, and we're glad that we can do it.
And leave us
for your guys'
suggestions.
enjoyment. Yeah, leave us suggestions. If you guys want us to play a game or something, like, I'm always looking for new stuff.
Yeah, we can play games.
Yeah, Patrick and I will probably be doing a series together soon at some point. It's been a while since Doki Doki, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're gonna pull a title out of a hat, and whatever it is, that's what we're playing.
There's a couple of horror visual novels that I do have an idea for.
Okay.
It's just, I don't know. Doki Doki was such a perfect length.
That was a good one.
I don't want, it's really hard to find one that's around the same time frame, because a lot of them are like 30 plus hours.
Right, yeah.
And try not to get that far in it, but if we gotta do 30 plus episodes of some weird visual novel, that could be really fun.
I mean, whatever,
I'll probably forget the voices 6 times, like I
That's
did
fine,
last
yeah.
time.
Well, we'll just, I don't know, I don't have a solution for that, but we'll get there.
It's all good. We'll figure out later in the next episode. But until then, it's been fun, guys. It's been real. Peace out, guys.
See ya.